In Activity 11, Plants and Sun, students learn about a plant's need for sunlight. They place plants in directional sunlight and observe how the plants respond. Students discover that plants always turn their leaves and bend their stems toward the light. From the kit, you will need Activity Sheet 11, planter trays with planter cups from Activity 10. You will also need to provide a large cardboard box, extra plant, scissors, and tap water. Several days before Session 1, place an extra plant to one side of a very bright light source, such as a sunny window or a lamp, and leave it there until its stem leans and its leaves turn toward the light. You will need this plant for an opening demonstration. Obtain a cardboard box that closes completely and is large enough to hold 8 planter trays. Cut a window hole approximately 8 cm by 8 cm near the lower corner of one side of the box. Each team will need its planter trays with plants. To begin Session 1, show students the plant you have left to one side of a light source for several days and ask, do you notice anything odd about this plant? Students should be able to notice that the stem is leaning and the leaves are all facing in one direction. Discuss with students any ideas they may have as to why this is occurring. Students may have experience with plants and say that leaves turn toward light. Ask, how could you find out if the stems and leaves of plants turn toward the light? Students may suggest putting plants where light comes from only one side and watching to see if the plants lean and the leaves turn toward the light. Show the class the box you have made with a side window in it. Ask students, what do you think the plants will do if we put them in this box and leave them there for a week? Answers will vary. Next, have 4 teams leave their plants where they are and have the other 4 teams put their plants in the box. Leave the plants in the box for the next week. During that time, you may want to water the plants in the box yourself in order to make the result of the experiment more dramatic for students. Try to let as little light as possible into the box when you water the plants. Have students care for their other plants as usual. To prepare for Session 2, make a copy of Activity Sheet 11 for each student. Schedule Session 2 about a week later than Session 1, when you notice that the stems and leaves on the plants in the box have changed position. To begin, stimulate a class discussion by asking, what do you think you will see when you look into the box with the side window? Some students may be able to predict that the plants will be leaning toward the light from the side window. Remove the lid and have teams take turns coming up to look at the plants in the box. Students should be able to see clearly that the stems and leaves of the plants have turned towards the light. Next, have students help you group the plants that have been kept in their usual place in the classroom beside the group of plants that have been kept in the box. Ask, what differences do you notice between these 2 groups of plants? Students should notice the plants from the box are leaning. Their leaves are turned mostly to one side, and they may be paler green than the others from lack of sufficient sunlight. Then ask, do the stems and leaves of plants turn toward the light? Students should see that when light comes from only one direction, the stems and leaves of plants turn in that direction. Remind the class that the job of the leaves is to make food using sunlight, and that leaves need to get sunlight in order to do their job of making food for the plant. Therefore, students should conclude that the best spot in the classroom to place plants is in an area where they can get enough sunlight. Next, distribute Activity Sheet 11. Tell students to draw leaves and a stem on the plant to show how they would respond to the directional light source. To conclude the activity, return the planter trays with planter cups to their place in the classroom. For science background, reinforcement activities, curriculum connections, and information about the Delta Science readers, please consult your DSM Teacher's Guide.